and Conciliators Young Members Forum. It's indeed very pleasant to have you here with us. Topic for today is an amazing topic. It's a topic that is a futuristic topic, and we're glad that you are here with us today. So I'll give a brief rundown of what's going to happen. It's majorly going to be about you. Your questions determine how this is going to run, because we need your questions, your thoughts, what's in your mind as regards ODR. ODR meaning online dispute resolution. I should not talk too much because the panelists are people that are experts to the call as regards online dispute resolution. All right, now, so let's set the ground rules. But before then, let me use this medium to welcome all governing council members of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators, all senior advocates present, all professors of law present, all members of the bar present also. You're all welcome. We're very glad you can join us today. So, ground rules, number one, send your questions to me directly. Now, if you look at the bottom of your screen, there are 3 dots where it shows the word more. So now once you click on more, you see chat. Once you click on chat, it gives you the option to send message to me directly or to the general group. So please send your messages to me directly. My name again is Yemi Olaniyo. Thank you very much. Secondly, it is more interactive. I must restate this point. It's more interactive. So always, once you listen to any of the panelists talk, always try to ask questions back, follow-up questions, so that we understand the key concept of ODR going forward. Now, it's important at this stage I move on to introduce the panelists. And as the popular parlance, ladies first. The lady I'm going to call is Chimdimma. Wonderful name. She is if I use the word in Nigerian parlance, the Oga Patapata of Ymf. And she's panelist. And the second panelist is Shehu Popoola, is the founder of Court 86, an amazing platform for dispute resolution. So Chimdimma, please, over to you. Tell us about you. Let's know Chimdimma.
My name is Chimdimma Onyedebelu. Chimdimma with an M. Chimdimma Onyedebelu. I work at the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators. I am the head of training, communication, marketing, and member services, and the special assistant to the president of the institute. I have been practicing for about almost 3 years now, and I'm very passionate about alternative dispute resolution. I was lucky enough to find ADR in university in my 2nd year, and since then, there's been no looking back. I wrote my final project on mediation, and I served with the institute. They retained me, and I've been with them ever since. So I'm also the program coordinator of the Young Mediators Forum. The Young Mediators Forum is a community for Icmc mediators. That's members of the institute, those that have been trained and inducted by Icmc under the age of 35. An Icmc Young Mediators Forum, that's Icmc YMF, was established in 2019, just a few months ago. And it was established because we find that young mediators are floundering a bit. We need some direction. We do the training, we get the certification, we're all asking ourselves, what next? What do we do next? Where do we go from here? So we decided to put together this community so we can all come together, encourage ourselves, give ourselves opportunities, get mentorship when we can. That's why on this webinar, we have we have the president as present. We have several of our governing council members, several of our fellows that decided to support us, so we're very grateful. So that's pretty much about me. I'll hand over to Shehu to introduce himself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shehu Popoola. I'm a legal practitioner and a dispute resolution specialist. I've been practicing for close to 5 years now, and I've been into commercial litigation and dispute resolution. I've picked interest in ODR since my university days, where a colleague of mine wrote his project on online dispute resolution, which I found very interesting. And after my early days in practice, handling mediation cases, I've come across the fact that dispute resolution can be useful for alternative dispute resolution and for dispute resolution as a whole. And that's what gave birth to the fact of why I set up Court 86. Court 86 was set up in 2017, and since then we've been moving and trying to let people understand that dispute resolution is the way forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chimdimma and Mr. Shehu. Amazing panelists you see we have here. It's very important at this stage that I give honor to whom honor is due. My president, the president of all presidents, is here. Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's an honor to have you here. Welcome you, sir. I don't know if, sir, if you want to say a thing or two. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
John, can you unmute him?
He's not muted, audio only.
Okay. It's also important that I welcome also a very distinguished senior advocate of Nigeria. He's here present with us, Mr. Godwin Omoaka, SCN, SCIR. You're welcome, sir. As I see more names, I'll welcome them as we go ahead. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We're very, very grateful. So quickly, we'll start with Chimdimma, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Explain the concept of ODR. What is ODR? If someone just sees the word ODR, what is ODR? People have read the word ADR. So now what is this concept called ODR?
Okay. So ODR is online dispute resolution. So it's essentially using technology to facilitate dispute resolution. And this can be in different forms, like the way we are now. You can have video conferencing, or you can use technology to just assist you in dispute resolution, to handle the preliminary matters, note-taking, setting reminders. So ODR is a very, very large field that covers so much, but essentially using technology to facilitate dispute resolution.
All right, thank you. Mr. Shehu, over to you. What is ODR?
Yes.
And if I hear ODR for the first time, what should be in my mind? What is ODR?
ODR is a branch of dispute resolution that makes use of the information technology to facilitate dispute resolution. It can be in different forms. It can be online mediation where parties have to see face to face. It can be automated, because it can be automated where you will just submit your claim and they'll just with the use of artificial intelligence, can be automated where the artificial intelligence will just suggest possible outcomes which parties can just pick and settle. And it can be online arbitration, and it's just making use of technology to facilitate dispute resolution. In other jurisdictions, they use it in litigation, like there are e-courts. Like in Canada, they have a tribunal for. It's just like small claim court that we have in Lagos, which what they use is online dispute resolution. So it can work for both litigation and alternative dispute resolution. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So if I heard you correctly, you said online dispute resolution can work in two forms.
Yes.
Can you reemphasize those two forms again, so that
it can work for the traditional form of dispute resolution that we know, which is litigation, and it can work for alternative dispute resolution.
Okay, then you also made mention of the fact that you can use artificial intelligence.
Yes, yes. Like if eBay uses online dispute resolution to settle their disputes. eBay is a e-commerce company that have people, as in millions of people that transact on their platform, and definitely there will be issues. So because of the volume that eBay has, so eBay has a platform, Moja, which is an online dispute resolution platform that once you file your complaint, it gives you possible solutions immediately. Is it a refund? Is it repair? So it's given you immediately. So if those ones serves what you need, then they'll communicate it to the other party. Then it will be resolved instead of wasting time and going for video conferencing, mediation, and stuff like that. So that platform narrows down the kind of dispute that will actually allows to that come online. We want to have an online mediation or arbitration. So that's as most especially for e-commerce. So all you do is just automate, just send them the possible solutions. Then if party can just pick one of the two, then the issue is resolved at that stage. If not, then we can move to the next stage of now appointing a mediator or. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm guessing let me also re-emphasize at this stage, please, if you have any questions, there's a button to your right, to the right of your screen with the word more. Kindly click on it. A drop down icon will show, and you can see chat. Now, once you click on chat, it gives you the opportunity to send questions to any of the panelists or to me directly. But please channel your questions to me directly. Thank you very much. Welcome. Secondly, now you've given us a perfect definition of ODR. I'll start with you, Shehu. Is ODR ADR? Like, is ODR ADR, or are they two separate and distinct words, or are they two concepts, or are they infused together?
ODR is not ADR. ODR is ODR, and ADR is ADR. It depends on the context which you want to use ODR. ODR can work perfectly with ADR. You can use it for ADR, and you can use it for the traditional dispute resolution platform, which is litigation. So it depends on what we determine. The ODR is a form of dispute resolution on its own. So it depends on the platform which you want to use ODR. ODR can serve, what the determining factor is legislation for me, because in some jurisdiction, ODR is used for both litigation and alternative dispute resolution. But in the event when there is no legislation, the best way you can use ODR is for alternative dispute resolution. So that's the difference. ODR is not ADR.
ODR is not ADR. Okay, Chimdimma, is ODR ADR? I'm hoping you take a very, very different view from Shehu.
No, I have to agree with Shehu. ODR is not ADR. ODR is not alternative to anything. The International Institute for Conflict Prevention and Resolution has recognized ODR, online dispute resolution, as a practice area on its own. Because we see there's some disputes that can only be resolved using online methods. Nothing else makes sense. Like in the field of e-commerce, particularly eBay and other platforms like that, you find yourself with a lot of cross-jurisdictional, high-volume, low-value cases. What I mean by that is there are buyers all over the world, some in Nigeria, some in China, America, so they're in different jurisdictions. Then you have so many cases. eBay has over 60 million users, so you can imagine how many disputes crop up every day on its own. And these cases are of low value, $2, $3, $5. In fact, something happened to me some time ago. I decided to buy something from an Instagram vendor. And you know all these jokes, what I saw versus what I got. Yes, so I saw something very nice, and what I got was definitely not what I saw. And the money involved wasn't so, I think it was about 12,000. It wasn't so much money. So I cannot resolve this matter going to the courts. It's not worth it. And even with in-person mediation, in-person alternative dispute resolution, physical, it doesn't really make sense either, because you have to pay for admin costs, you have to pay the neutral. Is it worth it? So some disputes that only make sense using ODR. ODR is not ADR. And like Shehu said, like there's litigation, some jurisdictions and some crimes, they use ODR in litigation for the courts. There are a lot of small claim courts online. Like the platform he mentioned that's in Canada, it's called the Civil Resolution Tribunal. I'll type the name here in case anybody wants to look it up. The chair of that tribunal is Miss Shannon Salter. And that tribunal was like a small claims court. There's also another one in America. There's Matterhorn. So these are small claims courts that are online. There's also another platform, Turbo Courts. So there's so many of them. So ODR is not ADR. You can use ADR in ODR, but it's not ADR. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I was actually looking for some action there, like back and forth, but all right, that's fine. Let me also at this point welcome Professor Ofonze Amuchazi, SAN. You're welcome, sir. It's a privilege to have you listen to your children, sir. We're very glad you're here with us. Okay, so Chima.
Yes.
So Chimdimma.
That's okay.
For ODR, is it something you have used? And if yes, what was your experience?
Okay. I have used ODR. I've used different ODR platforms. And overall, my experience was quite good, because I'll be very honest, when I first learned about ODR a while back, I was very skeptical, because I was used to in-person dispute resolution. So I was wondering, how does it work if everything is online? How do you do, especially with mediation, because mediation can be very personal. So how do you handle mediation that's online? So I started trying out some platforms. I have tried, there's a particular platform, CREK, C-R-E-K. I'll type that as well for ODR, and it's amazing. My experience with it was amazing. You have different options for video conferencing, phone calls, or you can have purely text-based mediation. What I mean by text-based mediation is it's just text. There's no video conferencing, no phone call, no audio or visual communication of any sort, just text. And the time I used CREK, I actually used it for purely text-based mediation, and it worked. The platform has amazing features for note-taking. They even caucus rooms, so you can have communication at the same time. You can be chatting with the parties in plenary, that's all together, or in caucus, that's only one party without the other in mediation. So it works. I've also tried Trokt, T-R-O-K-T. I did not particularly enjoy Trokt. Trokt was quite confusing, and I think maybe later on, if there's time, I'll explain why some ODR platforms struggle a bit. I've also tried next level mediation. So in general, my experience with ODR has been very good. And a lot of people use platforms like Zoom and WhatsApp, Adobe Connect for ODR. And it's been working. There's a particular organization, the Global Mediation Solutions, that will train you on how to conduct mediation using Zoom. So in all, my experience with ODR has been very good. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be that good, but it works. It's working. Thank you.
Sure.
Yes.
So, like, have you also used ODR before, and what was your experience? And I know that Court 86 is a forward-looking body.
Yes.
I'm sure that at some point that come up. So please share with us briefly.
Yes, my experience with ODR has been interesting. Even before setting up Court 86, I've used different form of ODR. There's a platform called Virtual Courthouse. All they do is online mediation where
Can you call that again? Virtual
Courthouse.
Okay.
So what they do is online disputes, just online mediation, where they will appoint me. You file in your claims. Then they will give give them the detail of the respondents. They will communicate with the respondent. They will fix the dates, and they have their own platform. So it's a cloud-based platform where you just have your online meetings, and there's a registrar too. So whatever is agreed will be typed out, and will be given to parties to sign and move forward from there. But the most important thing is that party has to consent to the platform before they'll be able to resolve the dispute for you. And there's another platform called Fairly Claim. It's in America. Fairly Claim is just like a small claim online dispute resolution. What they do cases below $15,000 US. So they can just resolve it. I've tried it out before, and definitely we've tried it out on our platform called 86. We've tried online dispute resolution, and we have the video, we have the live video on our Instagram page, and it's interesting.
Okay, awesome. I don't know if I did this before. You're welcome, sir. Mr. Godwin Omuaka, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I think at this point, my body is jittery. The bosses that are listening, you're welcome, sir. I was glad to have you here with us. Okay, now, normally in Nigeria, we're used to the in-person resolution of disputes. Oh, there's a panel of neutral in front, parties are by the side. If it's arbitration, you have a seat reserved for the witness, and all that. Now, how different is it going to be using online dispute resolution, especially using these various forums or forums that you have highlighted already? What's going to be the difference? How will you adapt to this non-in-person method that we're already used to? Shehu.
Yeah, I believe it's not a difficult thing, because nowadays people are comfortable doing things online. Like, people buy things online, people send messages online. The point is that it's strange to us, but it's something that we can adapt to, because to me, I don't think it's anything different, except if parties are not familiar with the use of technology. The only difference is just making use of technology, because if you understand that you are going to practice the same etiquette on it, but the problem is using the facility properly. I think more Nigerians are being aware of technology and making use of technology, and I don't think it's something that will be strange to us if we practice it. That's what I believe.
Okay, Chimdimma, I'm going to tweak the question a little bit for you. How is it going to work? Like, paint us a picture, if you can, of how it's going to work, where we're all not going to be in the same place. We're going to have the claimant and the respondent and the neutral, a registrar. So how is it going to work?
Okay, so how does ODR work? Okay, let me pick my favorite. I think my favorite foreign platform. I see someone saying here, please explain how foreign platform, ODR platforms work. So let me pick CREC, for example. So with CREC, you sign up. It's available online, like a website. So you sign up on the platform as a neutral. Then you create the mediation. You put the parties' names, their email addresses, so you can contact them directly and let them know about the scheduling and such. So you pick which method you want to use, whether you want to use video conferencing, text-based. So you also pick the dispute resolution mechanism you want to use, whether it's mediation, arbitration, negotiation, or you can even use all three. You can decide to schedule and structure in such a way that the parties have to negotiate between themselves first. You are already the mediator, the parties negotiate. If they're unable to reach a resolution, the mediator comes in. If they're still unable to reach a resolution in mediation, they move over to arbitration. You can structure it in a way that they have to go through these three ADR mechanisms. So let me say with text, because video conferencing, it's almost like this. It's almost like Zoom. You can see everyone's picture, everyone's face at once. Or if it's text-based, you don't see anyone. It's just text. So I've tried it with mediation. So I used text-based, and I gave my opening statements. I didn't have a registrar in that mediation. So I also have my note-taking feature on the side. So if I want to take notes, I can take notes if I want, and it's stored on the platform. So I gave my opening statement, invited the claimant, the respondents to give their sides of the story. So we started talking, then we reached a stalemate, and I went into caucus. And the caucusing allows for asynchronous conversations. That means you can carry on conversations at the same time. So even as I'm talking to the parties all together, I can branch out and go into caucus with one of the parties and start talking to him or her. So I can go into caucus, speak with the parties, speak with the other parties, go back and forth, do a bit of shuttle diplomacy. And I found that, especially with text-based mediation, you're surprised that it works a bit faster. Because when people are talking, people are usually overcome by emotions. So they run with their emotions. But when you're texting, you have more time to assimilate your thoughts, put it together. So I found that parties were not really in the mood to start going back and forth. So you're able to reach a resolution faster. Then if it's video conferencing, you can use it like this. If you want to go to caucus, there are caucus rooms where it's just you and the other party. So that's for more established platforms. But other platforms like Zoom, now Zoom was not built for ADR. And it's also a bit risky because these platforms are not custom built for ODR. They're not always secure. ODR platforms invest a lot in their security and their privacy. I watched an interview with Jonathan Verk. He's the co-founder of this platform called Co-Parenting. It's an online dispute resolution platform. Let me just type the name quickly in case anybody wants to look it up. It's called Co-Parenting. It's essentially for families that are going through divorces, separations, can help co-parents with their children, manage the children. So in his interview, people were asking about the security of the platform. And he said they've invested so much in their platform that it's almost impossible to hack them. That to hack them, you have to hack Google. And I'm not saying it's not impossible to hack Google, but we know how difficult it is. So platforms like Zoom, WhatsApp, we see how easy it is to hack people's WhatsApp. So these platforms are not very secure for ODR. So it's advisable you use platforms like Code 86, another platform that invested in their security. So that's pretty much my experience using ODR platforms, how they work. So it works. It actually works. Thank you, Yemi.
Okay. So you mentioned Code 86, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so the founder of Code 86, how Code 86 works and how basically how it works.
Basically, it's an online dispute resolution platform. When a complainant has a case, we have an icon for file a case. You type in there's a brief description of the case, the claims, and if you have any documents, we have a platform for evidence where you can upload documents. There's a column for where you fill in details of the opposing party so that we can contact the party. So, and if there's a witness, there's even an avenue for a witness. If there's a witness, you can give us details of the witness. After that, we will contact the other party. We don't call them defender. We'll contact the other party. Then we contact the other party, sending the claim, sending what the complainant is asking for and stuff. If then we pick a date, then we appoint a mediator. We appoint a mediator who will send messages to both parties. Who will send messages to both parties on procedures and dates for the online. But basically, what we do is online mediation because due to lack of legislation. So what we do is just online mediation. So we appoint a mediator. A mediator will send them a link. Send them, and they'll have an online meeting. If they're able to resolve the disputes, we have our platform has a white paper that types everything down and it's recorded. But it's recorded but strictly confidential. So we just keep it probably for our record purpose in case parties don't want to abide by the agreement. So basically, it's just strictly mediation, and the resolution that will achieve there is just strictly like a mediation agreement. So as far as, and we have a non-contentious form that parties are going to fill, that whatever is agreed by this, as far as we've agreed by this, you have to be abided. So in case parties want to enforce, I want to make in part of, I know enforcement is a very sensitive thing that people are going to ask, how do we enforce and stuff like that. In Lagos State multi-door courthouse, they have as a Lagos State multi-door courthouse, they have a provision in their law that says if you have a mediation on your own, like maybe you guys just call, it doesn't have to be online, it doesn't have to be, if you have a mediation on your own and you guys have agreed, you can bring the agreement and come and enforce it. There's an ADL judge that is going to follow it up. So that is the angle that we are looking at. So once there's an agreement, we take it to, we've written to LMDC, they are aware of our organization. So once there's an agreement, we'll take it there, and you don't have to follow the process. Of, if people, as in, I've had experience with some parties that said, what makes you feel that the other person will abide by the agreement? Why not just go to court? That if I'm still going to court, if I'm still going to go back to court to enforce it, why am I coming to court? Then, but this narrows the issue down. If you are arguing whether you are owing me money or I did a contract for you, you are not paying me and stuff like that. If we agree, we've narrowed the issue down to, okay, I'm supposed to pay you this, but this is what I'll pay you because of what happened. We've agreed that, okay, you're going to pay me 500,000 instead of the 1 million that was agreed. So when we go to LMDC, we are going to enforce the agreement. So this is what you've agreed. So we're not, there won't be a case of now you want to come and start calling witnesses. The point is that since you've agreed, then the enforcement is straightforward and it saves a lot of time instead of, because even the way LMDC work, they refer cases back to, as the court refer cases to LMDC for them to see if they can resolve it. They'll bring it back to court. They'll bring it back to court so that the court can enforce it as consent judgment. So basically the agreement can be enforceable and in case other party don't want to abide by them, maybe they want to contest this thing, we have a live, as at least the video is an evidence to show that this is what we agreed and this is the procedure, but the video is strictly confidential except when it's needed.
Okay, thank you. There are a lot of questions, so I think we might have to speed up as fast as we can. The ODR culture in Nigeria and other jurisdictions. In 2 minutes, just give us a background understanding of and how it plays up until now. The ODR culture in Nigeria and the ODR culture in other jurisdictions. Chimdimma.
Okay, ODR culture in Nigeria versus the ODR culture in other jurisdictions. Let me start with other jurisdictions. From what Shehu and I have been saying so far, you can tell that ODR has gone very far in other jurisdictions. So in Nigeria, it seems quite new to us. We haven't been using it, but other jurisdictions have been using ODR platforms, and it's gone far. It's extended to the courts, where ODR supports the court. There's a particular platform that I came across recently. It's called Turbo Court. I'm going to type the name.
It's called what?
Turbo Court. I'm going to type the name in the chat section quickly in case anybody wants to look at it. It's called Turbo Court. It's taking the small claims courts online. So Turbo Court, you prepare your case. It has all the list of stages for you, and it's very accessible, very easy to use. It lists all the stages for you. You file your case, you negotiate, attempt negotiation and mediation. Then, if you're able to reach a settlement, you sign your settlement agreement. If you're not, if you can't reach a settlement, you start your case in court. So you upload all your documents. It's very detailed. The platform is very detailed. It's a very intelligent disposition platform. You upload all your details. It takes you to negotiation and mediation. If you can't reach a settlement, then your matter starts in court immediately. So in other jurisdictions, ODR has gone far. But in Nigeria, we're still struggling to use the internet. Sometime last year, Icmc, when we were registering for our conference, somebody called me and asked me to assist her with the registration. So I sent her the step-by-step guidelines, spoke to her on the phone. I thought she understood me. Then she called me back and said, I was like, I still need your help. I said, okay, the instructions I gave you, they're not clear enough. And she said, no, I need you to do it for me because I am afraid of the internet. This is a real story. She told me she's afraid of the internet. And this is a very well-educated person that holds a position of authority in our organization. So a lot of us are still scared of the internet. Let me use that term. So in Nigeria, the ODR culture is a bit different because people have not fully accepted the use of the internet, the use of social media before they accept actually resolving their disputes online. Like I said, I was skeptical about ODR at the beginning, but now that I've studied it, I've looked into it, I've used it myself, I believe in it. Thank you.
Okay, so basically your take home is it's time for everybody to go and study how ODR works, especially since you've given us all this platform.
I mean, whoever thought that Zoom will become our primary means of communication, but circumstances have forced us to relegate to Zoom. So I think we all need to open up our minds a bit and try it. Just try it. Can even do it, just a simulation, not a real mediation or arbitration. Just try it and you'll be impressed. I'm sure Codetis can put something together. Thank you, Yannick.
Okay. Shehu,
Yes.
2 minutes. Not Chimdimma's 2 minutes.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
I believe
hear you.
ODR culture in Nigeria has to do with the fact that, that's with the fact people acceptance to using technology. Because the fact is that Nigerians are still skeptical about using the internet for things. People still, if you send people soft copy, they'll still prefer to use hard copy, considering the fact that even our courts, our judges still write tweets, still write notes and stuff like that. So I think if people can just adapt to the fact using technology to advance whatever they want to do, I don't think we'll have a problem with ODR culture in Nigeria. But it's just the fact that right now people are still being rigid to change. Like some people still prefer to read hard copy than trying to send them soft copy and stuff like that. But I believe with time we are going to adapt. Thank you.
Okay, so basically, if I get the two of you correctly, technology usage in dispute resolution is a must.
Should we answer?
Hello?
Should we answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a must? Is it like, I'm asking the question because there are a lot of people that are going to say, oh no, COVID-19 is going to pass. Let's go back to our normal lives. Let's get back to my normal lives and things are going to get a lot better.
Are you asking her first or are you asking me?
I think I'll start with you first.
Okay.
How is technology a must? Is it going to happen? Is it going to take us sweep us off our feet? Is it a must?
I believe use of technology in dispute resolution is a must. Probably we've not come to realize the fact, but the fact is that we've been shutting out people from access to justice because of the fact that we're not using technology. A lot of people, Nigerian e-commerce market is over 13 billion naira. A lot of people buy things online. And once there is issue, they'll look at it, okay, I have to go to court, I have to go and file, I have to pay lawyer, because don't just forget about it. I've had experience that people have come to meet me and tell me that I bought something from Jumia. Even my neighbor, he bought a gym from Jumia and he realized that it was painted, so it's not new and stuff like that. And he came to me that he's angry, he's very angry, that he wants to sue them and stuff like that. But I asked him, how much did you buy this stuff? He said he bought it like maybe 70-something K. And I said, how much are you going to pay me? How much are you going to file? You understand? So it got to a state that when I explained everything to him, it's not a matter of whether you have a case or not. Are you going to get justice? It's not a matter, are you not going to spend more than what you're going to? So even at that stage, even before the event of COVID-19, we have been shutting people out of court due to the fact that we're not using technology. So I believe it's a must, and I think this situation will just make us aware of the fact that there is need to do this. But it's not a new thing. It has been a must that we should have. Thank you.
Chimdimma, not Shehu's 2 minutes. In fact, Shehu is not turning his own 2 minutes to your 2 minutes.
Okay, is technology a must? Technology is not a must. It's not compulsory. I mean, we've survived thus far without technology in the courts and in our dispute resolution. But it's encouraged. I would encourage everyone to consider technology. Because like Shehu said, we have a problem of equal access to justice. And the legitimacy of the rule of law depends on equal justice. And equal justice depends on equal access. So to tackle the issue of equal access, we should be able to explore online options. The normal thing is to push ADR. ADR is a mean of decluttering the courts. I hear that a lot. It clears the case dockets of the judges. It assists the judges. So aside from considering ADR, we should also consider online options to also assist the judges. Not just the judges, assist the staff of the court. Like Tribunal Court that I mentioned, it helps store the filing. So when it comes in, the clerks and everything, they don't have to do anything. Everything's pretty much taken care of. So it's not compulsory, but we should definitely consider it to change our justice system.
Okay, so now, Shehu, this question is for you.
Okay.
The person asks that she would like, this question is from Joanne Jessa. I would like to know how ODR mechanisms enforces parties' judgment. For example, monetary judgment. It's through court garnishing proceedings with the court system. So basically, I think our question is regarding garnishing proceedings and how such should be enforced. The question is, I don't know if you understand the question. The question
okay.
is quite...
I think I get what the person is trying to say. From what I said earlier, what we do is online mediation. And the essence of a mediation agreement is that you have an agreement which can be enforced. It can be enforced in different form. It can be enforced because probably there is no proper legislation now, so it can be enforced as an agreement per se. So you can take different processes. I'm not even going to I'm not limiting it to Lagos now, because in Lagos we are using LMDC provision to enforce our own dispute resolution platform. Because once everything is typed out and we've typed out the agreement, we take it there, they will file it to an ADR judge. Then we can enforce it, form for it that allows it to be very easy to. But generally, even apart from the fact that we are not in Lagos, or if you are not in Lagos and all, the fact is that if you have a mediation agreement, it's enforceable.
It's enforceable.
So you can enforce it whether through summary. You can enforce it whether through summary judgment or undefendedly, for the fact that it has now. So we can enforce our decision just the way a mediation agreement can be enforced.
Okay, Shehu, quickly against you. Shehu, 1 minute now. 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes is making you extend. But
okay, sorry.
For Court 86 question is from person. There's no name, Galaxy something. Has Court 86 done any ODR resolution, either Nigerian or foreign users? And quickly, how did it work?
We've not done any foreign, but we've done the Nigerian case. We've not done a foreign matter that has to do with us, but we've done in Nigeria. But we are in talks with PwestSoft. PwestSoft is an online dispute resolution platform, or dispute resolution platform in India.
Okay.
In India, so we are in talks with them. We are planning to work out an online dispute resolution platform for Nigerian Chamber of Commerce, Nigerian Indian Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. Okay.
So that we can settle this between. So both platforms is trying to work out the arrangement. So, but we've not done any foreign. We've not done any foreign matter.
Okay, now this question is asking. Yeah,
question.
I get. I hope you have answered. I think we have. Now, Chimdimma.
Yes.
How will ODR fit into our jurisprudence, since our legal system is different from other legal systems? This question is from Imo Ayara. Thank you very much for your question. Please keep the questions coming in. We'll take as much as we can.
Okay, so how will ODR fit into our jurisprudence? Okay.
Yes.
It's simple. We have to get the buy-in of the judiciary. But it will fit in, definitely, with the private. We have the private, we also have the public. So the private dispute resolution centers need to start adopting ODR. recently we established the Dispute Resolution Committee of the Gemstones, Miners, and Marketer Association of Nigeria. So when we're drawing up the modalities for the working of the committee, which will operate under the auspices of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce Dispute Resolution Center. The Chamber of Commerce Dispute Resolution Center is one of the foremost ADR centers, the private ADR centers in the FCT. So it will work under the ACC DRC. We also included the option of online dispute resolution because in-person dispute resolution is a bit difficult because what happens when the parties are far away? You have to bring them all together. That's a lot of cost you're considering. With online dispute resolution, you may consider, okay, data and such, but compared to the cost of travel and accommodation, you can't compare it. So we can start working it in gradually. Then these other platforms in other jurisdictions have started working with the public legal system, that's with the courts. They had to get the buy-in of the courts. I am working on a paper for school about taking small claim courts in Nigeria online. So maybe after I'm done with the paper and I'm done with everything, I can publish it online on Mediation Bulletin. Mediation Bulletin is the online blog, like a blog of the Icmc, where we advocate the use of mediation and ADR and resolution of disputes. So it is possible, it is workable, but you have to get the buy-in of the courts.
Okay, awesome. This question says, a lot of people are having the issue with data. Now, this question is from Mohammed Adama. He says, while we are at it, we have had our minds to the fact that most clients or people are impoverished in this country, cost of data, poor connectivity, unreliable electricity, not to mention that there's about 0.1 computer literate. So I think his point of view is coming from the fact that, there are so many challenges with regards to ODR, ranging from we don't have constant light until very recently. I don't know if anybody has been enjoying steady light recently, data, poor connectivity, and all that. So comparing that to the in-person mode of dispute resolution, if we do a cost analysis, which do you think weighs less? Chimdimma.
Okay.
Definitely, online methods weigh less. I know when you're thinking about this theoretically, you think that yes, there's so many poor people in Nigeria, people don't have access to the internet, but when you think almost everybody owns a smartphone, no matter how small the phone is. And these Chinese companies are daily rolling out more and more smartphones, cheaper and cheaper with more and more features. So I'm going to say not everyone has a smartphone, but nearly everyone has access to a smartphone. We have access to WhatsApp, we have access to Facebook, and now we have access to Zoom. So if you have access to WhatsApp, you have access to ODR platforms. A lot of these ODR platforms I've mentioned have apps that you can download from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, or some of them are completely online. It all depends on accessibility. So when you compare it with in-person dispute resolution, the cost, you're going to have to pay for yourself, you have to pay the lawyer every day. When you compare it to online dispute resolution, some of these platforms, if you want to use Zoom, the Zoom basic plan for 40 minutes is free. You can decide to have 40-minute sessions over the span of 2 weeks at no cost to yourself. At most, all you have to do is pay the neutrals, and the neutrals will take into consideration the circumstances at hand. They may not overcharge you. But in-person dispute resolution, even if it's ADR, you're going to pay admin costs. If you're going to use a private ADR center, you're going to pay admin costs to the center. If you're going to use a registrar, you're going to pay your registrar. You're going to pay your neutral. So you have to consider all this compared to data. I think it's ODR works.
Okay, now, Shehu, I'm going to give you a different question now. A different question altogether.
Okay.
In a situation where this question is from Ajayi Victor. Now, in a situation where one of the parties is not so much technologically advanced, I think Dr. Chika mentioned something like this in the chat. I was reading it here. It's not so much technologically advanced to be able to tap into this ODR. Now, take for instance, the Icmc does as little as or as small as very, very little claims. Chimdimma can bear me witness. Now, if we have two petty traders, maybe one from Shehu's local government, that's right, his village, and one from Chimdimma's remote village, very, very far place. So now imagine two of them. Imagine the two of them having to come to have a dispute, whatsoever the kind is, and they want to resolve it using ODR. How is it going to work? Especially they are not technologically literate. So now it's two ways I see it, like it's in my head. One, either they now get someone to serve as an intermediary, or they get lost in the process. So explain to us how it's going to work, where we have one party that's technologically illiterate, or we have both parties that are technologically illiterate.
What we do on our platform is that we make provision for the fact that you can represent yourself, or you can decide to represent yourself. You can decide to pick somebody, whether a lawyer or a mediator, to represent you. So if you are not, that's why we are planning to work. That's why we are working with Icmc on planning to train mediators on how to use online dispute resolution platform, using our own platform as a study guide. The point is that if there's somebody from that angle, from the scenario you painted now, I think the best we could do is to get somebody down, probably maybe a lawyer or somebody that can just, because if you look at the fact that, okay, you have such claim, and if you consider the fact that you need to spend money to go to where you're going to have when you're going to have the section, or I think it's still cheaper. Online disposition is still cheaper, considering the fact that we didn't find it very difficult using phones and stuff like that. So I believe it is still cheaper to use online dispute resolution than in-person dispute resolution in that aspect. Considering the fact that we have options where you can get a mediator. You can just get a mediator to put you through. The person can represent you in the platform. You can just be there and just observe what is going on. If you look at that, it's still cheaper than for you traveling down to Abuja or traveling down to.
No,
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. I think I've learned more than 18 or 2. Now, the reality is for clerks in our courts, even the system, yes. I don't know how often you go to courts, but even the placed in front of them are turned to a huge decoration, and we can see the Apple. You can see the Apple systems that are placed there. Most time to the judge. Now, so how do you think, what's going to happen to court clerks when we all move, or majority of us, or a lot of us move online? What's the position of a court clerk? And now, bringing it to ADR, what's going to be the position of a registrar? The normal arbitration registrar that we'll have once we move to ODR. Do these platforms create the opportunity for us to still have registrars? And what will happen to also clerks? So it's twofold. One, the position of registrars, ADR registrars for online dispute resolution, and two, the position of clerks when it's infused into the court system.
Okay. So go
ahead.
I think the issue of ADR registrars are still very useful in ODR platforms, because even on proper ODR platform, there is a registrar that uses white paper to take note of the valid points. It's a registrar that will write everything that has been, as in the major, because you can't write everything that parties are saying in the mediation section. It's the registrar that will narrow down the points and narrow down the agreement. And so the issue of a registrar is still, registrars are still valid, and they are still very useful in online dispute resolution platform. Okay,
Okay, so let me start with the court clerks. So ODR, I know we're saying so much about ODR and ADR, but the courts will never be redundant. That's something we have to accept, because there's some matters that have to go through the courts. Now, I think the court clerks look at it differently. Technology is not coming to take their jobs. Technology is coming to make their jobs easier. I was privileged to listen to have like a walkthrough of the Turbo Court platform by the founder. And he said personally that the court clerks in their county, that once they receive matters from their platform, they're excited because everything is organized. The platform is very detailed. There's something called intelligent dispute resolution. This platform is very intelligent. It validates all your answers. You say 2018 here, you go back to 2016, it's going to point out that your answer is different. So these platforms are very intelligent. It makes their jobs easier. Then with ADR registrars, we have ADR registrars in mediation, in arbitration. Icmc and the Abuja Chamber of Commerce Dispute Resolution Center are currently running a training on ADR registry and secretarial services. So ADR registrars also have a role to play. With these platforms, all you have to do is give them access. And also, I want to quickly say something. Somebody sent me a direct message about something. So let me just quickly clear it up because I mentioned it earlier. I think the person must have joined after that. Yemi, is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so send me a message that security is going to be a problem, that people are going to have trust issues when it comes to online platforms. Now, like I said, it depends on the platform you are using. Platforms like Zoom were not built for dispute resolution. So I know it's going in, I don't know if you've heard about, there's a lot of hacking in Zoom going on now. It's called Zoom hijacking. They'll hijack your meeting room. They can show you inappropriate content on your screen and you have no control over it. We see the hoodlums that are hijacking WhatsApp every day. But these platforms that are purpose-built for dispute resolution, like Court 86 and the others, have invested so much in their security and privacy. It's an ethical issue for ODR practitioners, security and privacy. So they've invested so much in the security and privacy that it's almost impossible to hack them. These days, anybody can pick up your phone and go through your WhatsApp. So using WhatsApp for dispute resolution, anybody can go through your phone, look at your WhatsApp. Anybody can gain access to your Zoom meeting room. But these platforms were purpose-built for dispute resolution. So the security is top-notch. Thank you.
Okay, someone is asking, this person is a litigator, so quickly, that how would the adoption of ODR affect litigation lawyers? How would the adoption of ODR affect litigation? There's this popular definition of ADR, right? It's an alarming drop in revenue. Maybe ODR will now become overbearing drop in revenue. Shehu, is ODR overbearing drop in revenue?
No, I don't think so. I believe I'm a litigator, I'm a patent lawyer. So I believe ODR is not here to come and replace litigation or to come and wipe away litigation. The fact is that ODR is here to come and enhance litigation, because it depends on the angle that you are using it. It depends on you are using. In some jurisdiction, ODR is used in litigation. Maybe you want to collect expert witness from another country or from another place to come and give opinion, to come and give evidence or testimonies and stuff like that. So if we make use of ODR well in Nigeria and we make proper regulations, as in legislation, to make use of ODR, I don't think litigators are going to have problem with it. It can serve for litigators and it can serve for alternatives. And the major thing is that the court has been trying to decongest court cases. That's what has been going on. As in, the judges are overwhelmed by the cases that are coming up every day. And that's why they've been setting up multi-door courthouse, encouraging ADRs and stuff like that. I think what ODR will do is just to make this faster. They've been trying, but ODR will just, if they can adopt ODR to what they are doing, it will just make the process faster. Thank you very much.
Okay. Chimdimma, I'm going to give you a different question so we can move. There are a lot of questions that I have not attended to. This one is from Yvonne Onyedebelu.
I'm sorry, Yemi, can't hear you too well. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Not really.
Okay. Okay.
Probably should move it.
Maybe it's the headset.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better.
Yes.
Okay. Yvonne Onyedebelu. She says, or he says, do you believe that the time has come for ADR and ODR to be institutionalized in various trade associations both in the informal and informal economy. So basically, should it be institutionalized? I know that most institutions now have ADR departments. I know some that have ADR departments, but also should ODR too be institutionalized in both informal and informal sectors? Chidimma, should like 1 minute.
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely. ODR and ADR should be institutionalized. Open up ADR units in your organizations, because especially in your HR departments, because HR also involves some elements of mediation and ADR. So definitely open up ODR units, ADR units. ODR and ADR should be institutionalized in private ADR centers, public ADR centers, and also organizations all over the place. Icmc consulted for INEC, and we set up the Electoral Alternative Dispute Resolution Unit within the Directorate, and it's functioning till date. So a lot of organizations are beginning to follow the trend and set up ADR units within the organization. And setting up the ADR units, they should also consider online options. Thank you.
Okay.
Can I just make a point on that?
Okay. 2 seconds.
Just 30 seconds. Okay, 2 seconds. The point is that I'm looking at it in the instance of probably banks and e-commerce companies. I think there should be an ODR platform for them, as in it should be institutionalized so that they will be able to just resolve disputes fastly instead of because if you look at the amount of cases Jumia will have, or Konga and stuff like that, I believe if they can incorporate ODR into their system, it will make work easier for them. Thank you.
Okay, quickly, Shehu, is there an area, or is there an aspect of ODR that can be adopted in litigation? And is there another aspect that, are there cases in litigation that ODR cannot work for? And are there cases in litigation that ODR can work for? This question is from Imo Ayara. Imo, thank you very much.
Yes, I believe in litigation. Hello?
Yeah,
I believe in litigation. I believe in litigation. It's not all scenarios that ODR can undo totally. But in some cases, ODR is the best approach to use. But in some cases, ODR might not be used totally, but ODR can be used to facilitate the process. Like maybe somebody wants to give testimonies and stuff like that and the person is not, but ODR, but it might not be used totally for all matters. But there are matters, you can use ODR alone to resolve the dispute.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Can I quickly add something to that? Is that okay?
All right, sure. Go ahead.
When we're thinking about ODR, let's not get confused. When you're thinking about ODR, it's not just ADR and it's not just litigation. You can use technology to assist you in these disputes. Simply using a scheduling app to put in your schedule is using technology to facilitate dispute resolution. Simply having something to record and automatically, like sometimes those of us that have done like registry, like arbitration and mediation, sometimes you have a recorder. That's technology aiding dispute resolution. So while we won't say some disputes can, some disputes can't, it depends on the extent to which you want to use technology. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, let me also welcome Mr. Toyebi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. You're welcome, sir. Please, if at any point you want to drop us any word of advice, comments, your opinion on ODR, please feel very free, and we'll definitely learn a thing or two from you. Chidimma, disputes bordering on matrimonial disputes, how effective do you think it would be using ODR?
Disputes bordering on matrimonial issues. Okay, now it depends on the dispute itself. If it's a divorce, please, you have to go to the courts to get a divorce. Only the courts can issue a decree or nisi decree absolute. I'm not an active litigation practice, but I know that part. Only the courts can issue that. But you can use technology to hold the court sessions online. Then, like the app I mentioned earlier, Co-Parenter, that app is for couples that have already divorced. So you can use that app to co-parent. The app is very detailed. Another intelligent dispute resolution platform. It's very detailed. It has scheduling issues. So you can put in scheduling, like maybe Yemi is supposed to pick up our son at this time. I'm supposed to bring him back to Yemi at this time on this day. If I discover the child has an allergy, I put it in the app so that Yemi is instantly notified our child is allergic to peanuts, so you don't feed the child peanuts. Then also with the chats, in case you want to have like need evidence later in court, all the chats are time stamped. So these apps help you co-parent, they help you manage the children. But to get the divorce, the actual divorce, you have to go to the courts. But you can use technology in the court sessions. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just add something to that. I think ODI is very useful in matrimonial matters, considering the fact that it's very difficult getting parties together in the same room because of emotions and stuff like that. So I can leverage on technology and able to get them to get the matter resolved without temper playing a major factor in the issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. One question. Do you think the dispute resolution bodies presently in Nigeria are ready to take ODR by the own? Like, we have so many dispute resolution bodies. I know that Icmc is ready. We are ready. If I'm already in it. So other dispute resolution bodies, do you think and it spills over to the general Nigeria dispute resolution sphere? Are we ready for ODR?
Who should go first?
Yeah, already started. You can go first.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think it's a gradual process. This is a country that is still struggling to embrace the internet, use of the internet. I think it's a gradual process. We've seen that the coronavirus situation has grounded us at home. So right now we're beginning to migrate to online platforms. Right now, a lot of us did not know what Zoom was 2 weeks ago. And now we are masters at using Zoom. We can manipulate the systems. I think it's taking time. We're gradually moving our programs online. I see a lot of organizations holding webinars, trainings. We're moving our programs online. So I think we're getting there in the way of dispute resolution. I think after, even post-COVID-19, people will continue considering online dispute resolution. I have a boss that was quite skeptical about ADR, but then he has a matter that's going on now, and he was asking me, oh, Chimdimma, yes, so you mentioned ODR before, so now can we start having that my arbitration online? So people are beginning to consider ODR now. So I think even after post-COVID-19, the war has gone on now. Now we are forced to move online. So I think post-COVID-19, people will still continue to consider online means because it's very convenient. Right now, we have over 70 participants. It would have been very difficult to get these people all together in one room. These are people coming from all over the world. So I think it's very convenient and people will continue considering it as time goes on. Thank you.
Okay. Shehu, a different question.
Okay.
Okay, Dele, I think we've answered your question earlier. So I'm going to go to Zintin Gambo. It says, Shehu explained how Court 86 operates. Now his question is, how can you enforce the award where parties are from different jurisdictions? That's where in states where there are no structures like the LMDC. So it seems that enforcement is a major issue in people's minds when it comes to ODR, and we need to find a very good umbrella to put it in.
Yeah, I think the major factor in mediation is agreement to mediate. If you have submitted yourself to the process, you have to, as in the agreement, you have to be bound by the decision of what's the agreement. So I think a mediation agreement can be enforced in different platforms. Apart from the fact that LMDC has created a provision for it to be enforced fast. I think you can enforce mediation agreement in any jurisdiction as far as you can show that these parties agree to this settlement and you can enforce it anywhere. Probably if it's Abuja, you can enforce it undefendedly, maybe Lagos, summary judgment and stuff like that.
Okay, Shehu, still staying on you. do you think ODR, because you do matters, you do court matters, do you think
Yes.
ODR is effective in criminal matters? Like, when you're cross-examining that IPO or the record keeper, and then
Yes.
you want to be putting it to him, and then your network is pausing, or one network is stopping you from that efficacy of you're giving it to him, and he's shaking and shivering. So how do you think ODR will be effective in criminal matters? I think it's also
as I've said earlier, ODR might not be used totally to resolve a particular matter, but ODR can enhance a particular matter. If at the stage, maybe because of our criminal law provision, we might not be able to use ODR completely for criminal matters, but we can use ODR to get experts to come and make testimony. Maybe expert that is not around, you can use, as in you can use technology to get data. So ODR can enhance criminal litigation. Instead of saying the witness is not around, the witness is over there, probably he just wants to give expert opinion on a particular matter, or you want to just run a test and stuff like that. I believe it might not fully work for criminal litigation totally, but I think it can enhance it if we incorporate it into our laws. Thank you.
Chimdimma, what's your opinion?
Okay.
We are running out very soon.
Okay, I can count how many times I've been in a courtroom. But what I can say is, like I said earlier, you don't have to use it completely, but you can use parts of it. You can use parts of technology to help you. Like with there's this platform I used recently. It's called Next Level Mediation. I'm going to type the name in the chat section for anyone that wants to look it up. It's called Next Level Mediation. Now with Next Level Mediation, you're not doing the actual sessions online. You're not doing the actual mediation online. All Next Level Mediation does is to help you out with the preliminary matters. So you create your own profile, you create the mediation, you put in the details, you name it, then you put the claimant and the respondent's email addresses. So the platform will contact them, give them their own login. Now they'll go in, put in their answer, they'll put in the issues that they're having, what they want for the settlement. It's very detailed. You put in a lot of, they ask a lot of questions for them, then they submit it. Then you as the mediator can log in and see these matters, these issues. And the parties are also able to sign the agreement to mediate online. That's the agreement that you are willing to enter into mediation. You can sign it online. So that platform takes care of all the preliminaries. When you're done with that, you can decide to meet physically or still do it online. So sometimes when you're thinking of technology, don't just think, okay, I want to do video conferencing, I want to do text-based, I want to do audio. Think of using technology to help you in dispute resolution. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Quick one. I know that, or maybe I'm mistaken. Do our laws provide for ODR? Now, I know that for mediation, I think for mediation, if parties agree that we're going to use this method of resolving disputes, it's going to work because there's no legislation as such for mediation. Now, for other ADRs like arbitration, how will ODR work? Now, I'm aware that the Institute of Chartered Arbitrators and this Chartered of Arbitrators UK recently released a guideline for online dispute resolution, and it's quite detailed. So how do you think we should go ahead going forward regarding other laws for ODR to be infused? Chimdimma.
Okay, so when you say laws, do you mean legislations and such, or just within private organizations?
Legislations and within private organizations going forward. But legislations first.
Well, I don't want to say you can, like now, ODR, like ADR, is a flexible field. There have been several attempts to govern the field of ODR. But when you do that, you kind of stifle the practice, like governing mediation. We all know mediation is very flexible. So with ODR, I think what you can do, like for private dispute resolution centers, other organizations, even lawyers, as you're drafting your client's contracts, put it in that there are options for online dispute resolution. That's what we did with the Dispute Resolution Committee of GMAN, as I mentioned earlier. We included in that, even though they'll operate under the rules of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce Dispute Resolution Center, some of their sessions can be held online. So that way, from the get-go, everybody knows that yes, online options, it's an option. Online dispute resolution is an option. And also, like I said, with the courts, you have to get the buy-in from the courts. So maybe Shehu, we can work on something, talk to the courts to get the buy-in, start moving some procedures online. But it will take time, definitely. It's going to take a bit of time, but I think it's possible. Thank you.
Yeah, Shehu.
Yeah, in Cut 86, we have an online dispute resolution clause, which I include. I used to put it in any agreement that I do for now. At least it might not be the only dispute resolution clause there. It might just be the first instance that where you first try online dispute resolution. If it doesn't work out, then you cannot go for arbitrations and stuff like that. So I believe different institutions can put it in their regulations or in their rules, because I believe each centers have their rules that they can insert it into their legislation that the matters can be conducted online, causing the fact that if parties, it is impossible for parties to come together at that particular time, considering the situation of things in town. So I believe it is. I believe it's workable if the organization can insert it in their rules and regulations, stuff like that. Thank you.
Okay, quick one. 10 seconds. 10 seconds now. For matters that the countenance of the witness is required to judge his credibility, how will ODR work? Shehu, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Okay. As I can read your, I believe it can work. Depending on, since we are seeing each other, as I can see you, and I can read your countenance. I can know if you are not listening to me, and I can read your countenance. You are saying that I'm talking too much. The way you move your head and stuff like that. So I believe it's working. Depending on just making sure the facility and everything is in place.
Okay, Chimdimma, quickly.
I want to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I just got a question from my madam that I believe we should consider. Do you mind if I read it out?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, considering the concerns about internet connection challenges, do you think some sort of collaboration between the promoters of ODR and internet service providers or IT experts can help in enhancing the growth and development of ODR? Now, internet connections is a serious problem. Like all other forms of dispute resolution, ODR has its challenges, and part of that is connectivity. Like even now, we see that sometimes there's a bit of break, even now, but I think sometimes it depends on your broadband. So what we need to do first and foremost is invest in a good data plan. If you're going to be using ODR, invest in a good data plan. And maybe afterwards, Shehu, since he operates an online dispute resolution platform, he can talk about that. So the other challenges that we also face with ODR is availability of neutrals. Now, because everything is online, people are awake at all times of the day. We're in different geographical zones, different time zones. So your neutral, if you're relying on the human element alone, if you don't have bots, artificial intelligence that can handle negotiation with parties, if you're going to use the human factor only, what happens if someone files a dispute on your platform by 12 a.m. and they want it attended to immediately and nobody's awake? So that's another problem. Another thing is, of course, accessibility. These days, as more websites, more apps are coming out, they're so technical. A colleague pointed me to a platform that he started. He wanted to make it a communication platform. He wanted it to be a mix of WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. And after a minute of looking at it, I could tell that the platform was going to fail because it's too complicated. Nobody can understand it. So some of these platforms are too complicated that nobody can understand it. And also the issue of education. We have to continue educating people, educate lawyers, explore the option of online methods, educate the court system, educate practitioners all over the place. Just consider it. It will help your practice. Consider it. You don't have to use it fully. You don't have to do video conferencing, but you can consider it. It works. So maybe Shehu can answer the part about the IT issue. Shehu, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Shehu, please go ahead.
Okay. When we are talking about, okay, it depends on as ODR is large, so it depends on the angle that you want to use. I think for e-commerce, I would suggest artificial intelligence. Like you can just do blind bidding, because you cannot getting mediators to now start handling all the cases together is going to be it's going to be stressful and stuff like that. So we can use for e-commerce, we can use artificial intelligence. All they do is that, since you know that when people are complaining, maybe I buy something from your store, the most complaint is that the goods is not good, I want my refund, I want my money. And like there's a scenario that happened in eBay. It's an online, as in there was an issue. The buyer has to go to put, as in the buyer made a negative comment on the seller's platform. And the seller was like claiming that I sent the goods to you in good shape and stuff like that. So they were able to resolve that. If the buyer can refund the money, the seller, if the seller can refund the money, the buyer will remove the negative plus. So it depends on different platforms we want to use. When you can decide to use, like institutions like Icmc and other institutions can decide to use online mediations, like videos where mediators will be able to meet each other. They can now discuss with broadband owners to get a reliable internet facility.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Chimdimma, Icmc has created this body called Ymf. Now there are a lot of young people listening to us from all over. Explain to us briefly how Ymf works and how people can join. Maybe for the joining part, you might have to message you privately, but yes.
Okay, so like I said at the beginning, the Icmc Young Mediators Forum was initiated in 2019 because we looked at our members and we saw that our young mediators are struggling a bit. Because you do the training, you get the certification, you're asking yourself, what do I do now? Sometimes you apply to court-connected ADR centers, so you need experience. And you're wondering, if you don't let me in, how will I get the experience to apply? So a lot of people have these issues. So we decided to bring together a community of Icmc mediators. What I mean by Icmc mediators are mediators that have been trained by Icmc and you've been inducted into the institute as a member. Try to bring them together to tackle these issues. Also to explore the ADR field is very vast. Also to explore other fields of ADR. If you don't want to go into actual resolution of disputes, actual mediation, actual conciliation, actual arbitration, there's research, there's consulting, dispute system design. There's so they can write. There's so many things you can do. So we decided to put this community together so we can explore all these other options together, continue to learn from each other. And we have so many qualified people in our governing council, our fellows, our members, and want to learn from them. So now we've put together the Icmc Young Mediators Forum. We see that a lot of them are beginning to lend us support as a community. Right now, so many of them are online. They've been helping us to publicize our events, giving us advice. So you can helping us fine-tune our ideas. So right now, we're getting more mentorship benefits than we had before. And if I can say this now, we want to launch a mentorship program, a speed mentoring. It'll probably hold in about 2 weeks for Icmc Young Mediator Forum members. So it's going to be a speed mentorship. Emails, messages will go out to explain it further, but we are focused on mentorship for our young mediators. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And so if anybody wants to join the Institute as an associate, first of all, they can reach out to you. Yes?
Yes, please. But yeah, about that, I saw even someone asked a question earlier if they can have our personal information. I don't see any problem with that. If Shehu is okay with it too, we can put down our email addresses and also our names on LinkedIn. A lot of people I've met in practice that have helped me, I found them on LinkedIn. I even met Shehu through LinkedIn. I will become good friends, good partners. So I'm going to put my email address. So if you have any questions at all, maybe we couldn't attend to your question during this webinar, please shoot me an email at any time. I'll also put my name on LinkedIn. You can look me up on LinkedIn, ask me any questions. That will be totally fine. Even questions about Icmc. Icmc is very important to me. So if you have any questions, can please send me an email anytime. Send me a message. I'll definitely respond. Thank you.
Okay, I think at this point, before we finally close off, let me first thank the president, Mr. Onyedebelu. We're very grateful, sir. He has been here from the beginning to the very end. Mr. Gordon Omaka, SAN, thank you very much, sir. Professor Fonzi Amuchazi, thank you very much, sir. SAN, God bless you, sir. And Mr. Atoyabi, SAN, thank you very much, sir. Then also Mr. Victor Ojaide, my chairman of my subcommittee. Thank you very much, sir. So, final comments. Shehu, about ODR.
Yes.
Okay, before the final comments, what is the ODR clause going to be like? Now,
I can send.
We have in normal agreements usually have an arbitration clause or a dispute resolution clause. The normal dispute resolution clause is a three-tier clause where you have negotiation, mediation, arbitration, or mediation, arbitration, then court. So, what is going to be an ODR clause? What's a typical ODR clause going to be like? Or is there going to be an ODR clause?
Yes, from our platform, what we use is online mediation due to the fact that there's lack of legislation. So our ODR clause, we have it is on our site, and I can send it here if you don't mind. But what we do is that we make is an online mediation. So we are going to do an online mediation section, which is the ODR clause is going to be conducted with the Court 86 online dispute resolution, online mediation. So that's the way. So it depends on there are other jurisdictions, there is e-arbitration and stuff like that. So depending on the platform and the.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me also at this point thank all members of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators that are present, all fellows present. We are very, very grateful for the opportunity to learn from you, and for you to join us. It's simply mind blowing. I must also thank everybody that has joined us at different points, and for those that have stayed from the beginning to the end. We are indeed grateful, and I hope you've learned one or two things that will help you going forward as regards dispute resolution. We all know that the courts are closed now, so it's now the time for ODR to shine. Chimdimma, I know that Ymf has programs coming up. Can you briefly tell us about them so that people can be abreast?
Okay, so Icmc Young Mediators Forum and the Institute itself, we have a lot of programs lined up for the rest of this month. Next week, Saturday, by this time, by 3 p.m. as well, we'll be having another webinar on charting a career in mediation for practitioners, whether young, old, new practitioners that want to build a career in mediation. We're going to have a session on that. We're going to be having our registrar, Engineer Shehu Ogunyowu. Yes, I said engineer, he's an engineer. Then we'll also have Dr. Chukwuemeka Eze. He's the Executive Director of the West African Network for Peace Building. They're going to speak to us on how to build a career in mediation. Another program we'll be having, but this will unfortunately be specifically for Icmc Young Mediator Forum members. This is going to be a speed mentoring program. We have a list of mentors, people that have volunteered to be mentors, and we're still contacting more. A lot of our senior and experienced mediators in Icmc that are going to volunteer to be mentors. We're going to give you about 10 or 15 minutes to speak one-on-one with an experienced mediator. Ask any questions you want. Yes, you're going to meet people from all over the world, people from United Nations, WANEP, so many organizations, people across the world, people that have excelled in practice in Nigeria. So you're going to meet them. You have the opportunity to ask any questions you want at all. We're going to give about 10, 15 minutes. So we have that lined up. Then Icmc will also have more webinars. Next week, we're going to have 2 webinars. One on managing your emotions as a mediator. Agada Elachi, PhD, will be taking us on that, the former registrar of Icmc. Then on Friday, we'll be having one on family mediation. It'll be taken by our Vice President of Training, Ambassador Victor Ojaide. Those are just the upcoming programs in the nearest future. We have so many faculty members lined up who are willing to support us, willing to teach the younger generation. So look out for us.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think at this point I must also acknowledge somebody that I respect a lot. Madam Aisha Adu Abdullahi. She's Director of the Dispute Resolution Center of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you very much, Ma, for joining us. We are grateful. And to all governing council members that joined us, we are grateful. To everybody that have not mentioned your name, we are very, 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 very grateful. Closing remarks. Oh, yeah, you've done closing remarks, yes. Shehu, closing remarks. Final closing remarks.
I'm not.
Shehu, final closing remarks. Emphasis on the word final.
Okay. Well, I believe from everything we've been able to say, and with the situation of things, we understand that there is need for us to try and adapt ourselves with ODR and try to use it in every possible way we can, whether for litigation, whether for ADR. But at least from the position of things that we are, I believe as with the presence of the COVID-19, if court cases should not be going on, I believe mediations and other forms of alternative dispute law should be going on. Maybe probably once they settle, once the court is home, they just move ahead to do their stuff. So I think I would just want at this stage for everybody just to try and see in the little way that we can to see if ODR is the way forward for us. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yemi, can I finish my closing remarks?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, yes. Okay, so we are recording this webinar. So if you'd like to have a recording of the webinar, we can, by tomorrow, we should be able to upload it, or by Monday. Okay, no, tomorrow is fine. We should be able to upload it to Google Drive, and we can send you an email with the link. So if you'd like to have a copy of this webinar, you can send me an email, send me a message on LinkedIn. If you have my phone number, you can send me a private message. I will send you the recording. So please look out for our programs, look out for Icmc. Icmc is committed to building the field of mediation. So please continue to look out for our programs, continue to consider online options. And we know that there are so many questions and we don't want to keep you for too long. So if as all you have, or if we get enough people that are interested, enough complaints, we can have Disparition Digital Age Part 2. So if you want to hear more, we can have Volume 2 of this. We can even bring in more ODR practitioners to talk. We can have a debate about it. We can discuss. So if you'd like to hear more, please let us know. Someone also asked if ODR has if the Young Mediators Forum has any page on LinkedIn. Well, we have our page on LinkedIn, the Icmc Young Mediators Forum. You can send us messages, or send us messages to the Icmc body. We'll see all messages. We are all one. So thank you very much. And some emails are already coming in, so we'll get to them, please. We'll start responding to the emails. So I want to thank everyone so much, everyone that has stayed with us from beginning to end for over an hour. We're very grateful. It's amazing. People that have joined from all over the world. Thank you so much. So Yemi, thank you.
So thank you very much. Let me also use this medium to thank Mrs. Olani. Thank you for joining. Mediation is the way forward. It's the eye of the future. It's the eye of everybody. We can save the world. We can save finances. We can save relationships when we adopt mediation disputes. And together, we can build a world where businesses are sustained, relationships are maintained, and we all get our dreams. Thank you very much. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to Shehu Popoola. Amazing session. God bless you. Thank you, Chimdimma. Thank you very much. Thank you to the president. I can't keep emphasizing how grateful we are to have the president joining us. And to Mr. Gordon Omaka SCN, thank you very much. Mr. Alphonse Amuchiazi SCN, thank you very much. These people are very, very dear to my heart. Thank you very much. Have a very lovely day. Thank you to everybody that's joined us. I can't thank you enough. And I pray that by the next time we call you to join us for a webinar where you will learn a lot. I pray and hope that you join us. And I also pray that after COVID-19 ends, none of us and none of our households will be missing. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.